Herald columnist Steve Buckley with Herald baseball columnist Evan Drellich here at Fenway South in Fort Myers. And I'm just going to start off with, I thought, a cool observation. Andrew Benintendi, a brilliant young prospect and phenom from the 21st century, taking BP this morning against Rich Gedman, a top prospect who was in the big leagues at age 20 back in 1980. And I just thought the separation of eras, 20th century, 21st century, was a cool thing. I put a little picture on Twitter and Facebook, and that's the kind of stuff I like. So you got like important baseball news, but I wanted to start with that.
Well, you're the history buff. I wouldn't say important baseball news today compared to yesterday. It was a lot quieter today. We didn't have owners talking. There wasn't nearly as much drama. Blake Swihart did some drills. He didn't mess up any throws that I saw. I don't know if you saw anything.
Nope.
But he seemed to be on the right path. You know, talking about batting practice, the one thing I was looking at was Pablo Sandoval in the cage and looking at his right-handed swing versus his left-handed swing. It's just noticeably smoother from the left side. And it starts to make me wonder, well, if he can't hit lefty pitching, what do they do? What do they do at third base? What do they do at the corner infield spots? And I asked John Farrell about the third base rotation because you figure going into games that you need Sandoval to get almost every rep over there. But you want to see Rafael Devers, you want to see Josh Rutledge, you want to see Brock Holt, Marco Hernandez, Matt Dominguez is somebody who's got a lot of third base experience, probably not known to many Red Sox fans, but he's been a big leaguer before. There's a lot of guys that you got to get time for. And, you know, if you're John Farrell, I think it's actually one of your taller tasks right now.
It's really his only task. Everything else is getting everyone in shape and game ready and so forth. But, you know, assuming there are no injuries, he kind of knows his rotation. You know the first base, DH thing, second, third, the outfield's all second short, the outfield's all set. But I don't want to be alarmist here. But what do they do with Sandoval if he can't play that position?
I don't know how you trade him. Unless you're eating almost all the money. And it was kind of the same discussion in the offseason, right? What do you, if you move him, you still would have to swallow so much of the money.
Right.
In some ways, this is your last-ditch effort. He goes to get the route of Alan Craig or Rustin Castillo, right? If you really get to that point. But watching him hit from the left side of the plate, I think there's still something in there. It just might be that you'd have to platoon him. I don't think Jason and I talked about this yesterday. I don't think he's going to end up being the guy he was in San Francisco. I do think there is still a ball player in there. You know, we're talking about what else to watch for, other things being set. Come Monday, we've got Drew Pomeranz and Stephen Wright getting back on the mound, and I think that's going to be an important telling sign as Camp moves forward. Can these guys get off the mound and throw?
And if all three of them are healthy, Wright's got to be in the starting rotation, I would think.
Wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
so,
I'm with you on that.
All right. The way I look at with Eduardo Rodriguez going to AAA, in years past, they've never had that guy that can reach down and bring up in a pinch and really guarantee. It's always been that 4A guy, Abe Alvarez, DeVern Hensack, and no offense to Henry Owens, but he's kind of in that mix right now. But to have a major league ready guy, and we've seen Eduardo Rodriguez have enormous success in the big leagues in various doses. Right. But everything else being equal, I'd prefer to have, say, a Stephen Wright in the rotation, maybe Pomeranz in the rotation. Yes. Use the options on Eduardo Rodriguez and have him go to AAA. All right, that's going to wrap it up from Fenway South here in Fort Myers, Florida. For Evan Drellich and videographer Bob Greim, I'm Steve Buckley. Enjoy your weekend.